Hello,
Welcome to Movie Talks.
we're your hosts, Chris.
And Ken. Yeah. Now, I'm LaserDude99.
I'm Chris, filmmaker 123. So, we're here reviewing. This is a part 2 on
Sequels.
sequels.
That's all we've actually been reviewing, really, is
Right,
sequels.
and we are doing today two, my friend, episode 2.
So, let's first talk about Star Wars in general. Now, episode 1. I loved it as a
Episode
kid.
1, Phantom
Man, when we first saw Darth Maul and his dual lightsaber, I feel like we wet ourselves.
I was like, oh,
Can he do that?
I was like, can he do that? No, he can. Wow.
And okay, episode 3, it was really cool. It was like lots of great effects.
We really liked the first one. I can't say enough about the first one because they had these collector's cans.
Pop cans.
Pepsi products
Yeah, Pepsi.
agreed to promote Star Wars and have a face of the characters on each can.
They were collectibles. You had to try to get one of each character.
Right.
And the thing is, there would be different ones for different logos. Like, you would have to get certain diet Pepsi.
If you want to
cans.
get all the girl characters.
Or...
If you want to get Darth Maul. I know, it's funny, it's ironic that they put the diet Pepsis for the girls.
wasn't just the girls, but...
Anyways,
and
so they put Darth Maul,
we tried
Jar Jar Binks, and Obi-Wan Kenobi on Mountain Dew. They put all the Pepsi products, basically, that you can think of, into these characters. And so you're buying a lot of pop. We collected these and put them in a little wooden box because we thought if we collected them all, it was worth something.
we ended up just putting them in the recycling bin after a while. But we had quite a few.
If you remember correctly, back in the day where people were lining up, camping out for days, waiting to be the first ones to be in the theaters.
We had actually one in our hometown.
This is crazy.
And it was weird because he was like the only one lined up. But anyway, continue.
And all these people are coming together, lining up for Star Wars, and it was coming back, kicking butt. And episode 1 came out, and I sat in the theater, and I don't know about you, but I was sitting there, and I was like, "Am I really here?
Yeah.
Did I?" The privilege that I got to sit in this room full of people,
of course,
and see Star Wars.
Of course, it wasn't as up to date. It wasn't on the same level as the other one. Like, for some reason, a lot of people were put off by Jar Jar Binks, but I think he serves as perfect. He was comic relief, and that's all he did, and it was fine with that. Then, of course, episode 3. We'll go on to episode 3 was great. It was entertaining. Had lots of action.
It went in that dark side, and we love that because that's exactly what they needed to do. Some of it was kind of just trying to get it in there, you know, trying to get it back into so it would look like the fourth one, you know. But I think it was a really solid effort. I felt the actual
It still
work
felt
put
like a
into
Star Wars film.
Yeah, honestly.
It still did. And of course, we wouldn't be able to say enough about episodes 4, 5, and 6.
Classics.
Like, on a high level that we can't reach. But that's not what we're here to talk about.
We're here to talk about Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Clones.
So, first time I saw it, I thought it was bad. I saw it tonight, and I was like, you know, I think I'll give this a thumbs up.
You really?
Wrong!
Oh! Wow! You got me worried there!
I cannot say enough about this. It's poor acting on
Hayden Christensen. That's a big...
He is our worst trouble.
He's the worst... the only reason I think he was passable in episode 3 is probably he had an acting coach following him everywhere he went. And he said, no, redo. Like, every take he must have had 50... scenes.
I hate to admit it, but
oh man,
something's got to give here. Hayden Christensen, he brings to the table
nothing.
Hardly anything. I think.
I mean,
the scene involves him saying certain lines I really think they're rushed on this. I don't think George was even behind him saying, "Can you do that another way?"
Oh,
I think it was just the first take wonder, you know.
There's a scene in it where Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker, they meet with the senator, the girl.
Yeah.
And you can tell by that one scene that none of the actors are good in the room except for Ewan McGregor. He's the only one that has any depth of emotion in his voice, any actually acting skills. Everyone else was like, "We got to find who did this." He's like, and Ewan McGregor.
We're going to play a clip of this scene. This scene is, everyone is nervous in this room, as you can see. Everyone is, they're not prepared today or something, and they just came into the scene really nervous, I think. But I'd like to talk about the romance that happens between Natalie Portman and Hayden Christensen. Well, it is so difficult because Hayden Christensen's character,
he's coming off like a stalker.
Anakin Skywalker, is basically this spoiled, rotten kid that never got to get around girls.
And this is the only girl he met?
First time he meets, he's saying, "Whenever I think about her, I wish I was dreaming about Padme. Every time I think about it, it's impossible to bear."
Dude, you haven't seen her in 10 years.
I mean, this
you
is
on a planet that only had guys?
This is turning out to be a Prince Charming / medieval type movie.
You were using her as bait. It was her idea. Don't worry, no harm will come to her.
I mean, it couldn't get any more cheesier. From the kiss scene.
I did not buy that they were falling in love. I did not buy a second of it. There was no reason for them to fall in love.
There was no attraction on Padme's part other than she thought it was a little cute kid.
And you'll always be that little boy on your tattoo.
Now imagine this, you're an older person and you see this cute little kid. You don't have an attraction to that person.
10 years later.
You actually feel turned off by that.
Especially when the guys
Can you imagine if those kids that you worked at camp or you've seen growing up
10 years
came
later,
up to you
they
10 years later and said, "You know, I really had something for you and I want to be in your life." I mean, come on!
He's still a Padawan learner. But I was thinking...
Hold on a minute.
Excuse me.
Okay, another thing I'd like to say before we get underway is there's a lot of distractions. Now, I'm not sure what George Lucas's vision was, but he sat down in the visual effects department and was like, "Go nuts." And it really have tons and tons of background images.
Especially in Coruscant.
You have, 8 lines of traffic that Obi-Wan Kenobi has to get through to land.
Anakin.
First it was Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan.
And then Anakin jumps off this little car type of a ship, and he falls through, must be 10 layers of cars, and lands exactly right where the villain is.
And
this girl,
without any injury.
Without any injury
I
whatsoever.
mean, like, there's no actual sense of gravity to them falling. It's just like...
It's eye candy, but it's also just
honestly
insane.
If Coruscant was real, it would be a disaster zone because all these people are flying their ships this way and that way. People are going to crash, fall into another ship, fall into another ship, fall into another ship, and then just...
And boom! Boom! It's gone!
You've got an entire building destroyed.
So, basically, the visual effects, I think Kenneth would agree with me on this, the visual effects and the backgrounds and all this is good stuff. There's a lot of neat explosions and fires and, you know, all trying to get all the lightsabers in the same place and everything. But where's the story, George?
Okay, like special effects has always been at the center of Star Wars' heart. However, in the past movies, it has never overtaken the story. The story always comes first in Star Wars
I have to remind myself time and time again that I'm watching a Star Wars movie.
It does not look like a Star Wars film at all. It doesn't feel like a Star Wars film. It looks like a crappy sci-fi film.
So, I want to say first my favorite scene, and you can say yours. My favorite scene is basically Obi-Wan Kenobi is walking down this hallway and he's meeting up with Jango Fett, is it?
Jango.
Jango Fett, and in this room. all of
Jenga Cube Fett. No, sorry.
and also you meet Boba Fett, the little kid.
Who did not do a good acting.
Oh my goodness, this kid's acting was like
He was like
a
a kid pretending to fight in his backyard.
Fire!
Daddy!
Okay.
Continue.
Anyways, the scene, I really like the layout of the whole place because it reminded me of the classic Star Wars.
It's a 5-second scene.
Why didn't they keep this classic Star Wars? I mean, it's fine, but that's the only scene that I like in an entire movie. I'll watch it again just for that scene. How about you?
Well, I must say that even though, for the most part, the special effects are way overdone, the end battle scene where they're shooting things down and stuff, I'm not talking about the lightsaber fight, I'm talking about with the droids and the Clone Wars shooting each other and all that, was done rather well. It wasn't bad. It was pretty good. It still didn't feel Star Wars, but it was still entertaining.